So last time I did the same demo. Who was there? I think everyone, but maybe Simon was not here. So last time, same thing as today. So the talk is about decoupled CMS. So the idea of a decoupled CMS is that we can write a website without having the pages served by the content management controllers. So when we look at standard CMS, what we see is that when I display a page, when the website displays a page, what it will actually do is use the module contents here and the controller item controller, and here there is an action called display, which takes a content item ID. Okay, and this is this thing that will actually render a content item, whatever it is. And when it's loading the content item and then rendering it, it will delegate all the parts rendering to their display drivers. Okay, this is how it works. This endpoint. So everything we see in an Orchard website is rendered by this exact action. Most of the time, anything which is a content item. You can create custom controller, front-end controllers, but mostly done with that. If you have questions, don't hesitate to interrupt me. Is it just with Simon the issue, or everyone else is having the same issue? Okay, so it's just you, Simon. Okay. So everything is rendered by this display action. And this is what happens in a standard CMS. Okay, like if I take WordPress, everything you see on a WordPress website is rendered by the WordPress content management system. With a headless CMS, what happens is that the CMS doesn't render anything on the front end. It's just a set of APIs in terms of REST APIs, endpoints that you can query with HTTP protocol, and then you get the result from these queries and you do whatever you want with this content. So in Orchard, what it will look like is, you see the controllers here. We have the item controller, which renders a content item, but we have an API controller, which lets you get a content item and just return the JSON document representing this content item. So what you will do in this mode is you create a website that you host somewhere, and you have Orchard hosted somewhere else, let's say. And the first website that you made will just query Orchard by asking, hey, give me this content item and I will display it. There are more REST endpoints to get content items, like to do queries, to list content items, and whatever you want to imagine for each module. And the idea is that the CMS is hosted on one server and the website is hosted on another one. So it can do live queries to get the content, or you could also imagine that you have a console application that will generate a static website using HTTP request to the CMS to render a static website, and then you deploy a static website, okay, or use a tool to do that. But the idea is that, yeah, in a headless CMS, your CMS doesn't render the pages like in a standard CMS. It just exposes APIs that you can use from any technology. So you could do your website in static mode or in PHP or whatever technology you want. Just grab the content from that. So we saw the two complete opposites of building websites, and the decoupled technique is a middle ground where it's run as part of the CMS, but the CMS is not rendering the pages. It's your app that is rendering the pages, your app or your web pages, ASP.NET pages, that will render everything. So you don't rely on the CMS capability of rendering items, of theming items. You just write the code you want, but it's run as part of the CMS application. So the communication between your application and, well, your pages and the CMS is in process, is using local APIs. compared to headless CMS, where the communication is network communication. Okay, and there are advantages and convenience for everything, but here I will show you how to do the decoupled one. So for the decoupled one, you can use either ASP.NET Core MVC or Razor Pages. Well, MVC views and controllers or Razor Pages, because they are both in ASP.NET Core. And I will try to do everything in Razor Pages, but I could also show some examples with actual Razor views. We'll see. So in this case, what I have the dev branch. It's completely empty, and I will start. I will start by starting the web app to just create a new website. So to do that, I will do. Hopefully it will work. Control F5. It works. I'm not sure if it will start in debug or whatever. Apparently it's doing, I don't know, it says web debug. Maybe it's the default one. Waiting to see what's happening. If the debugger is attached, it might be slower. It's kind of sad. Maybe I should have selected another mode. We'll see after. I'm not sure we can even stop that. So I will start by creating a site, because that's, well, a site, a tenant, because that will be necessary to host the content. And I will show you which recipe we'll use. Super slow. I should, yeah. I'm sad I can't use my better machine. Have questions in the meantime? Super slow. Oh my god. Okay. And what I will start to do is stop it. Yeah, slow. Stop it and not start in debug mode. So if I do web debug console, I don't know what's the difference between console and web release. I will say console just to see. I click stop and I don't see anything here. Control F5. I assume it's not recompiling everything. How do I know it's running? Super lame. Next time I won't do that here. I will do it from the command line. At least I will see what's happening. Okay, I will keep this mode. At least this one works. Yeah, I know, but I could not see any URL with the previous mode, so I don't know what's happening. I prefer to see something working. And here I will call it demo. And what we have recipes. So since last time, what we have new is a blank site. So the blank site recipe is part of the theme, which has already the software as a service, and the blank site has nothing but just enabled features for CMS capabilities. And let me open it. So if I do empty.recipe.json, this is the recipe. And here we can see there is a step that is featured to enable the features. And then we have just another step, which is the theme step that defines the admin as the admin theme and nothing as the site theme. So there is no selected theme for the front-end views. So it won't try to search for layout, CSS, HTML, or whatever. It will use no theme at all for the front-end views. So if we render a view on the front-end, which means a view which is not designed for the admin, so any standard view won't use a layout by default. So it will just be the content, unless we specify in this view to use a layout. So that will be just the content, no layout, nothing. So if I go on and select this blank site, which is what I want, we'll get, so username, password, and you see here, blank site, no page. So when we go on the home page of the site, there is no content at all. Nothing is answering to the default homepage, default query, and we get a 404. Okay, the page could not be found. There is a custom middleware that will return that message from, I think, a custom view. But that's all we get. And last time we tried this demo, the first thing we did was go to the admin page. What happened when we went on this admin page was a bug, because the login page was trying to render on the front end and was looking for a theme, or at least was looking for a layout shape from this theme. Here we don't have any a theme anymore, and it's working still. So the idea is that the login views and all the actions will actually use the admin side of the things. So it will use the admin theme, and in this case that's what it's using, the admin theme, but with a custom layout for when we don't want to display the menu and the top banner, like a lightweight layout. And how it's done is, because these views, they will actually now, let me show you. If I go to the modules for the user here, and I go to the views of this module, the view for this thing, like login, the one I'm currently displaying, is actually saying we need to use the layout underscore login. Okay, so it's a layout that will be dedicated for the login. If it doesn't find it, it will use the default layout. But if there is one in the admin theme, then it will use the layout for the login. And the admin theme contains one. That's why the login looks nice for the admin theme without the left and right stuff. So here I can authenticate. And I go to the admin. So the site that is started using the blank recipe. When I go on the front end, there is nothing, but the admin works correctly. Okay, and this site has content management modules. And in terms of content items, there is nothing. In terms of content types, there is nothing either. Just the menu and link menu because it has been created by the menu module. But there is absolutely nothing. It might be a mistake, but at least it's a blank one. A blank should be blank. And if I go to the active themes, we can see that the admin is active as the admin theme, but there is none selected as a front-end theme. And something new you might not have seen is that we can reset the site theme or reset the admin theme if we want to clear it. I will not suggest to reset the admin theme, but it will work. I could show you, but it works. There is a security in case you click by mistake, and this is already resetted on the front end. So even if you have not set it in the recipe, you can change it by yourself here. Okay, so going on the front page, there is nothing. So how do we add stuff on the home page? Actually, it might be an issue, but how do we add a page at all somewhere? So what I will do is I will create a page on the web app directly. So the web application is behaving as a module. So I can use it as my main module, the one that is always active, always available. And to do that, to create a page, I will create a new folder called pages because I want to create a razor page. And I will create a file called foo.cshtml. And this, I will use the how do they call that? I can't remember. The page thingy. I will say hello world. Okay. And now if I go on the site and I do /foo, it loads my page. Okay. It can't be simpler than that. Defined at the web application level, a razor page named foo, and it will be bound to the foo name automatically. It can be inside modules also, and that will work too. But here I will use the web app. So the difference between using the web app directly and a module is that this thing will be applied to all the tenants. It's like I want to create a SaaS application, and I want all the tenants to behave the same with these features and these pages. And that will probably make the most sense. Making it as a module will allow me to reuse it across tenants and to provide different experiences for each tenant. Okay, so you can have your app as a module, and you can mix and match all the things. So this is it. And now something I haven't tried for a while is if I do an index.cshtml, I will expect it to be the home page. So if I create a page, I'm still looking for the name of these things. Home page. So foo still works, and the home page works. So that's a convention in Razor pages. If you have a Razor page called index, it will be bound to the home page. So that's super useful. Okay. You can define custom routes in the startup file or conventions. We might do it later, but you can also use the names directly. So I see, try to, no, that will work. /in, you see? So why did you ask, do you think it will not work or you had the experience? But that's the idea. I won't create an admin file for sure. I don't want to break it. So, well, yeah. So that's it, how to create pages. And this is already some kind of decoupled CMS. I'm not using any theme on the front end. I'm not using the content display controller to display things. I created my own pages and my own homepage and my own foo page and whatever. And all the features from Razor will work, and we'll use them later. So what do we want to do? What I like to do as a decoupled website is to use the Start Bootstrap theme that we did last time. And the one we did as now a long story on the Orchard issue tracker. It's the, where is that? The business theme. Is it here? Yeah, the modern business one. The modern business one is interesting because it has many ways of showing data. So we have cards, portfolio, and some description here. Services, I think yes. So what we did last time is that we assumed that the cards here at the top of the homepage are the same as the services here. So we'll call that the services. The portfolio has multiple ways of showing the list of projects. So this is one layout for the portfolio. This is another layout for the portfolio. And the goal of these templates is to show how you can organize the HTML to render that. Okay. A website template might not have all of these. Okay, the decoupled web app. We can try to do that, but we'll start with one at first. It has a blog. We didn't create any blog post or whatever. We could. That's not the purpose here. The about is just a standard page. So what we'll do is we will start modeling the services and display them on the home page as is, and also on the services page. Okay. And we can then look into how to display one single service. I don't know if there is a template for that. There is none. What is the LearnMon doing? Nothing. Okay, so we'll do that. Here, so I explained that last time. The idea is that we need to understand how we want to build the sites. Is it like a theme that will describe our data model, or is it that we start with a data model and then we'll create the site around that? So what we want to display will impact how we model the data. In this case, what we see is that the services, they are on the home page and also on this page. We could think of creating a content item that will contain all the services, or we could think of them as individual items. Same thing for portfolio. It could be a list of projects. It could be a content item with a bag of projects. So I don't remember exactly what we decided last time. Services. Services, I think we made a bag, and that might be the easiest one in this case. We have a very limited set of services, so that's fine. Also, the cardinality of the items will be important. If you have a small number of items, you can definitely think in terms of back part to get a single content item containing all these elements. If you have an extensible number of items, then you want to separate them and to handle them individually. But services, I think we'll do a single content item with the back part and then try to render that. So any questions on that? Yes, we'll see what we can do. So let's start with services. But well, let's start with the site first. So we need to copy this template and make it in our website. So let's go back here and download it. And this, everything will be copied into the www root here. So all the static files, I'm copying them in the www folder to make them available statically, because I will use a CSS, JS, and everything. And normally, if I go there and I do, what file is that? Index.html. If I do /index.html, you see, it already works, because the www root folder is provided as a static file provider with a static file provider, so as a static content, and by accessing a file, it will be served by the server automatically. So the site is already working. Let's see if we can access the services. I click, you see, same local application, it still works. Okay, that's good. So we have access to all our static content, but we don't want it to be a static content, we want it to be a dynamic one. So this content, the index page, should be our home page. What is our home page? This is the index.cshtml in the pages folder. So what I will do is just copy from the www root the index.html file, and I will just paste it into our own index. I will keep my page directive. That was the word I was looking for, the directive. And like this, I save it. And if I remove this static file and I just ask for the home page, I get the exact same result. Okay? I'm just a result page rendering static content. Something we can already do is, should I? Sure. Let's make it dynamic. So this thing, English, we should use the current language of the website. So to do that, I will start directly into getting everything which is necessary, which is injecting the orchard helper. So the orchard helper is something we missed last time. So orchard helper. This is an object which is usually available when we do a theme, because all our views will inherit from a base class that will have that. But in the case of a razor page or any other view, we can just inject the orchard helper, orchard helper, and I will call it orchard. And in that thing, with that thing, we can then use it to get the culture name, for instance. Let's see if it works. F5, view source. And you can see here, now I don't have EN, I have EN-US, which is a default language of my computer, which is also the one that has been initialized in Orchard by default, but we could change it with the localization module that Jasmin wrote. So that's how it works. If we want to know more about it, we'll go in the documentation, so Orchard core. And if I look for, so first thing to do is go to dev branch. By the way, Antoine, while you're here, if there is a way to have this one by default, because everyone is asking for it, that will be good. And if I go to, where could it be? If I were to look for it, I will look for localization. There is a localization section. Is it explained in this page? This one is not explained in this page, so maybe we should do it. But if I look for culture, liquid culture, this one, tag helper, it's not defined. Where can it be? I'm almost sure it's defined. So, let's see. Culture name. And can I look into a file to include?
I don't think it has been added in documentation. Jasmin can answer. But I did the site settings.
Oh, maybe I did the liquid one, but not the
liquid.
Not the razor one. Okay, well, something to do. That's good. So yeah, culture name, and there is another one that is available in the Orchard helper. So if you are using Visual Studio, you get Razor IntelliSense, and by just doing dot, it will appear directly. So it's just because I'm using VS Code here, I don't have it. But here you can say body, and then there, I think that's there, right? And then you can do culture there. F5. This is not the one I want. This one I can close now. F5, view page source. This works, okay? There nothing because the current culture is left to right writing, so it's doing that. But if I was to choose, for instance, Persian, it will show out well. So this is another thing we can do for internationalization. In this case, we don't care. It was just to show what you can do with that already. So it's working. It's using the CSS, the JavaScript, and everything. It's using our template here. That's good. Let me close that. That's good. So what we want to do from that is to extract, because if I go, let's say, on our foo page, we might want it to reuse the same layout, okay? The same, maybe not the same slider here, but at least the same menu and the same footer. So we need to extract the menu and the footer inside a layout file. HTML, I don't know, okay, interesting. I've seen that on the body. Or at least when we worked on that, it was on the body. I don't think it will matter a lot in this case. So I want to extract the layout. So to do that, because Simon told me that we could not put the layout in the pages already, I will put it in the views. I want to test my luck. I will create a views folder and a folder called shared and a file called layout.cshtml. And from the index, what we need to extract is, let's go back there, is inspect right above the carousel, which is in the header section here. So after the nav tag and before the footer tag. So I will look for the nav tag here. After that, from the header to the top of the footer here, this should be our index.cshtml. So how will I do that? So I will start with the end. I don't know why, but it's there, and put in the layout, and I will go up, and for the nav, I will go up to everything. To there, here, and I will put it in the layout. Okay, and here what we need to do is render body or something like this. Someone will tell me if it's an await or not. I see injected. This will be a view, so I don't need to say it's a page. It will be a standard view. And here the page will still contain that. This will be the body of this view. Can I move that around? Okay, layout. So where is, okay. So layout contains that, it's injected. Then index contains a body. So what's the syntax for the render body? Did anyone check? Layout render body. render body, exactly what I typed. So let's see if it worked. So if I do F12, I've removed that. I go on the home page, enter. Okay, that works almost. So you see what's happening here. I have the content of the index, but it's not using the layout. And that's expected because we never said we needed to use the layout. So I can do it there. I can do bytecode layout equals, and it should work if I do it this way because it's in the shared location. Let's try. It doesn't work, it doesn't find it. So what we need to do is to say dot slash views slash shared slash layout. And now it's using it. But if we do that, we need to do it in every page that we will create. So we can put it in common in a view imports file. So I will do a new file called, view start file, view start.cshtml. And this view start will be executed for every file which is in the same folder and subfolders of this one. Okay, so before every page, it will execute the view start. So it will set the layout of every page which is inside that. So if I go back there and do F5, doesn't work, could not be located. Views, shared layout. View starts, what is the, did I make a typo in the name of the file?
Not dot or no views.
Well, it's in the same folder, so it's in a parent folder, so I would expect it to work this way.
Tilde slash.
Okay. No, it should work with dot. Try this way. For me, it's a bug. It should work with dot. If it works with dot in the other one, you see the file here is the same folder, or maybe I need to no, because it's finding the file. Okay, if I
Simon says just put it in pages folder.
That's where it is.
Yeah. And Matthias says just underscore layout.
That's what I tried. I tried it when it was in the view, but it didn't work. You see? The following were search pages, layout. I can try that. I can try to put everything in the same folder. Maybe in this case it will try to look into the embedded files and it won't find it, and that might be the reason. But in this case, why did it work with this one? Sounds like a bug to me. That won't work. You see. And if I do, what is view start, shared layout, this is good. So you did that and you put it there, and you have, oh no, the views. So what did you do? The view start layout equals layout, and you put it in the shared. No, you put it here. out, you put it in the same folder. That works. Interesting. Thank you, Simon. But I'm surprised. CSHTML? I'd like to understand at what point it stops working. If I put the CSHTML extension, it doesn't work anymore. That's interesting. So if I delete this one, will it still work? It works. So you see, it can be in the shared, but then you don't specify the name, the extension. You just say that. That's super weird. Is that the behavior of MVC? That's weird. Because when we were in the file, we did set that with the extension in the relative path, and it was working. And now it works in the view start if we don't set the extension. Okay, well, that works for me. But also the nice thing is that now it's shared. So if I go to foo, it's also using the same template. Okay, so that's nice. The difference though is that this thing must be inside a nice one. So header, and what else? Header, container. So I assume that the page content should be in the content section. So I will close that. So here in the foo, if I do page content, and I go back there and I ask for my foo page, then it's nicer. And so the idea is that we should probably have that around the body, okay, and have the header in a custom section, so that the home page could inject that in the header section, and then this will be part of the layout. So I'm not used to that. So if you know, I will do a quick Google, but if you know how to do that with sections, let's do it. So head, so layout, render body, I said should be in a container tag, okay, like this. And then I want to remove it from this. I will add the same comment here, like this, okay. Then in the index, I want that to target a section header in the layout. So the layout, how do I specify a section? So ASP.NET Core MVC section. Render section, okay. So here this goes in the index, and we can say render section header, okay, and do the carousel. Yes, this is the carousel, and do that, and it should disappear from the site because we didn't inject the section yet. So this one works, and the home page doesn't work. It says the following section have been defined but have not been rendered. Okay, that's expected. So now in the layout, we need to render the section by doing render section. Where? Here, before the page content. Render section header required false. Okay, and if I go to the home page, now it works. Okay, so that's even better. So what we did is that the layout says if something in the view is defined as the header section, we render it here. And in the view of the home page, we defined header section. But in the foo page, we didn't define anything that goes in the header section. Okay. In the theming for Orchard, we would have created zones and injected stuff in zones. That would be the same behavior. Okay, so that's better. And now we have the template correctly working. And if I go on any page, it will use the template and put it in the container zone. That's perfect. So the home page here is using a carousel, a static thing. That's fine. That I want to make it dynamic and content managed with managed content. So I'll go to the admin and design my content types and my content items. So what I need here is I want a new type. A new type that will be a service type. Create the service type. I want to be able to edit the title. And what do I have? Title body. Okay, learn more. I don't know what it is yet, but we'll see. Title body, and I want an HTML body. Good. Save. I want the title at the top, then the fields, then the body. I don't want to be able to create a list and version that. Save. I can't create them yet. What I want now is a new type that will host all the services. So I will call it services. I could call it service collection or service bag or whatever. I will call it services. Create. And this one won't have any title. It will have an alias, though, because I want to give it a nice name. And that's, I will say it's a bag. It is a bag of, it is a bag of service. Okay. Save. Save. And it's creatable. So now I can create my new services content item. I can create as many collections of services, but I will create one for now. The alias, I will call it services. And I will add an item of type service. I thought there was a bug. No, it's just that I didn't click. The first service is card title, some lorem ipsum content. I will take the big one here. And title service 1. I will add 2 others. I clicked enter. Service 2. And service 3. Okay, and it's services, service, publish. I have a content item, okay, with 3 services inside. And this content item has an alias called services, a handle, technical name, whatever you want to call it. Questions so far? Okay, no questions. Now if I want to display it in my page, I go back to my site, and on the index page where I have the services, where are they? These ones. Welcome to Modern Marketing Icon section. What is that? What am I showing here? What is it? Welcome to Modern Business, and this is the thing here. So welcome to I'm gonna miss this, and marketing icon section. I have a row and I have 3 different items for my services. So I will delete 2 of them, keep the first one as a template, and here we need to loop. Okay, we need to loop over every service we have in our services object. So we need to load this service object. So first I will do the same as in the layout. I will also inject the Orchard helper. And with the Orchard helper, if you had Visual Studio, you will see the IntelliSense. I will do var. I can do it in 2 steps, or in 3 steps, or in 1 step. So var service in Orchard dot here. What I will do, I will show you in documentation, because this one I'm sure is documented. I have 2 Chrome pages here, and I have 1 with documentation. No, I don't have documentation here. So I will open the documentation here. Orchard core with docs. And in the contents one, I see liquid Razor helper. And Razor helper has, again, on the dev branch, because you will see more things on dev branch. I think I had yes. Get content item by alias async. Returns the content item ID from its alias. It's not actually the content item ID, it's the content item itself, I think. Yeah. Oh no, yes, content item ID, then content item by alias. Get content item by ID. Get content items by ID when you have multiple items. And get content item by version ID async. This one you will probably never use. And you see here the Razor helper is accessible on the Orchard property if the view is using Orchard Core's Razor base class, or by injecting this interface in all other cases. What I want to use here is get content item by alias. And that, it's an awaitable method. And the alias I want to use is alias colon services. And this is my service. So let's do it in 2 different calls. So that's better if we can mix directly. Okay, let's see what happens if I do just output that. Let's output that. So this will load the services object and dump it on the front end. What I should see is just content item or an empty string. We'll see what it displays. I think it might just be service or content item. So if I go on the home page here and I do F5, I see a parenthesis, which is an extra one here, and this thing just displays nothing. So let's do content type. Nothing. Yes. Oh, dot content type. That's the issue with that things. How will I do that? I will create a block. Var services equals that, and here I can do at services dot content. Doesn't work. What did I do? An error, compilation error, semicolon expected. Now the name services does not exist. Services, that's bad. Services, and now it works. Okay, so I can see the full object here. So what is the command? Add more, blah blah. No, thank you. So here services has been loaded, and I know it's a content item, and a content item, if I do just at services, it will try to render the display text. But we don't have a display text for services because we didn't edit the name with the title part. So it just renders nothing. It renders nothing. But if I do .content, it will dump the content, the full content of this content item. And this is why here I can see the full JSON. And what we want is to access the services property, which is in the back part. Okay, well, the list of services, and all the services are in the back part that we defined. And this back part property has a content items property which contains an array of all the services. So what I can do now is at for each var service in services dot back part dot content items. Okay, services back part dot content items. It's an array. I can do at service, and in this case, the service here, this is one service. It has a display text, service 1, and service 2, and service 3, and so on and so forth. F5, and what it says, blah blah blah. Content item does not contain a definition for back part. What did I miss? Services.content. And here I can see the full dump. Services. Am I still displaying that? It's displaying everything. Interesting. Oh, because in this case it's not a content item, it's just a JSON document. Okay, so I need to do service.display text. It's not a content item C# object. It's a JSON document extract of it. You see service 1, service 2, service 3. And now, because I have the template here, I just need to copy the template here. And do at service dot display text. And for the body, which is here, there's a div in the middle. What is that? Yeah, that's normal. So add service. I need to access the body. And the body, let's see if I will dump everything just to see what's happening, because I want to see. So Control S, F5. I want to see all the content for each service, and I have access to .html body part, which is under the service side. No, HTML body part .html. So if I do service.html body part .html, F5, and I see everything here. But this is HTML. So what we need to do is, because if it actually contained HTML, it will be encoded and we will see the tags directly. So I don't want to render to encode that. So I will do html.raw, which is MVC code, and say don't try to encode this property because this is valid HTML. In our case, we'll see the same thing. But if I go to edit my page and put some tag inside, and save again, and refresh my page, you can see now it's not encoded, it's just rendered. Also, this is a very bad editing experience, so I will edit my service and say for the HTML body, use a different editor, the WYSIWYG editor, so that when we edit the services, now we get an WYSIWYG editor. Okay, much better. So if I want to edit the second one and add some color, because why not? Publish. I have no idea how it will look like, but that works. Okay. And in this case, I assume the editor added a paragraph. So maybe we want to remove the paragraph because of this editor. It's an option. Or maybe we should have an option on the editor to not inject a paragraph in the end result. But that works. Questions on that? I think that's the whole idea of Google Faster. Okay. What? Okay, questions? So that's how we do things. And it should be still super fast. So remember, we are in debug mode, but if I open the network tab, it should be under 20 milliseconds because debug time 40 milliseconds, super slow, much faster on my machine. I clicked that and now I don't know. Now it's ordering by name. How do I remove the order? Crap. Okay, so that works. Now, if I want to do the same thing, but in the services page. So we need a services page, okay? So to do that, I will create a new Razor page. That I will call services. And I will say it's a page, and I will copy paste what we have in the index. So we have that, and we have that. Okay, and if I go on the services without the static file, but the file we're under, we have that. It's ugly because it doesn't have the tagging we need for this page. So how is it rendered? I will actually just copy paste the content of this page. So view page source, or I will just go in the editor here. Services. Here, what we have navigation, and in the container it says all of this until that. So in my services here, I will copy paste everything there, and I will replace the marketing icon sections with the code that we wrote here. Shift there, tab, move extra lines, that will do. Okay, it's not super nice, but not the matter. So the static page and the dynamic one. It's different. Something is different. Something is different. I forgot the row tag, which is div class row services, and that's why there was a div, and that should be here. We can put it there, and now it works. Okay, did I have it on the index? Div class row. Yes, I had it. I just forgot about it. Okay, so that's nice. We can reuse the same content into different pages. One on the home page. Oh, no, the navigation is actually wrong. So one on the home page and one on the services page. Okay, same thing. I will just update the navigation which is in the layout, which is there, and index I will remove everything, just say slash, and for the services I will remove the extension just to target our own page. So if I go there and I go on the home page, this is our home page, and the services, this is our services page. So now I want to show you how to put this image, because it's something that failed last week because of a bug. I assume the bug has been fixed in the meantime. So if I go to the admin, I will change the services type to also have a custom field of type image, media, and I will call it banner. Save. Now save, blah, blah, blah. Not multiple, required, save. So if I go to the services page, I have now banner here. I can add an image, and I can actually, I don't have a kittens. I want an image. Go away. This one will do. Copy image, save image. Oh, I need the original image. How do you go to the original image? How hard is it to get the original image? That should work. Save image as desktop, save. Now I have an image. So here I can go to the desktop and just drag and drop and say OK. I should have selected it. OK. So I have the image locally. I can publish my content. And to access that, in the view here, in the services, somewhere it's using this image here. So I want first the local URL for my image. The image is in, so first then I need to load the services before I access it. And in the services, I have the field on the service type itself. So it will be in the services property, because this is the name of the part containing the field. The field is named banner. And then we must have a path property, and it contains an array of path because it's a multiple media, but I have only one. So it's either path or path. So let me check. Media field is documented, but it's faster for me to look in the source code here. And I'm sure someone was writing that. Thank you. 0 here. So I can type it there. And let's see how it doesn't work. But why it doesn't work? I want it to stay here. And here F5. I don't see any image here. So if I do F12, I should see a 404. You see here, the image is looking for, oh, yeah, that's an obvious reason. At F5, it still doesn't work. What's the issue now? Services.content. And now it's worked, but the URL is wrong because it's looking for this. Oh, this is a WebP file. Oh my God, it won't work. I'm sure it won't work. I will do it later. So the URL here is wrong because this is just what the path is storing. What we need to do is to convert the local path to something that can be actually accessed from a browser. And to do that, there is a helper, orchard.assetURL, and we need to pass the value here. And this won't work with a compilation error as no applicable thing because we need to cast that value to a string. And I tried to fix it, but actually I can't fix it. The idea is that this object content is a dynamic object. And so is every property that we pass along the way. It's actually a string, but from a compiler perspective, it's a dynamic. So we need to cast this thing to a string, to tell it it's a string, to pass it to the method here. I could not find any other way to do that. A simpler or nicer way to do it could be here to say string banner path equals that, and then it will be a string automatically, but in this case I will just cast it as a string. And can see that it's working. It's loading the file correctly. Okay. Options we have is to actually, instead of taking the full image that was uploaded by the contributor, we can also give it a custom width and height. So I could say width, let's say 200, height 100. I hope it works. Let's see. Maybe it didn't work because, let's see, why isn't Chrome showing me the... It didn't work because it's a WebP file. I need a PNG file. I need a PNG file. What kind of file is that? This is the website. Copy image address. JPEG, okay, that will work. Okay. So I'm going to content management, to the assets, and I will Matthias, what is that? There's a bug. There's a bug, it didn't show up the thing on the first try. But that's okay, I will forgive you. Kitten, upload. I have this one, so now I will go to the content items, services, and I will remove that and select this one instead. Okay, and I will publish, and this time it should correctly resize it. You see, it's resized correctly. So I uploaded a big image, but the URL that open image in new tab, the URL that contains, you see the dimension, resize the image. This way you can be sure that the clients have the correct size and not the big one, and optimizing for the usage you want to do in each page. But if I remove that, then we'll get the original size. Okay, so that's the idea. I will still give it an height because design reasons. Did it work? Didn't work. Oh, maybe it was not a valid. There is a list of values you can pass and you can't put everything you want. Okay, maybe that was blacklisted value. Okay, but okay, we have the thing we wanted here. Okay, services in two different pages. So far so good. What else? If not the portfolios. Something with file storage. I don't know. Portfolio services. Let's see. What did I want to do? What did I want to do? Portfolio. Okay, let's look at the portfolio one. It should be also pretty simple, the same technique, but here we can do a list, or we do a list if we want to do some channels like a blog. A blog is a list of posts, and you could have multiple blogs. Portfolio, I assume there is only one portfolio. So we can just create a project item. So let's create a project item. So content definition, content type. Someone wants to say something. Could use tag helper for images too. True. Good idea. Let's show up the tag helper. So the tag helper is in the, so it's documented. This I know. Okay, media here. And we have a tag helper here. So what we need to do is to inject the tag helpers from the correct module by doing that. And then automatically the image tag, if we do asset-src, this is much better actually, thank you. If we do asset-src here, we can remove the call to the asset URL because this will be automatically asset-src, and we just pass the path from the field. Okay. And automatically, because we have asset-src, the image tag won't be the simple image tag, the standard one, but will be handled on the server side by the asset module. So if we save it, and we go to the same page on services, oh, this is the wrong browser. This is the only browser. So what is wrong with that? Services. What does it say? Malformed image tag, because the tag helpers want it to be correctly formed. 5. It doesn't work. What did I miss? So it's like it's not taking the tag helper into consideration because I need a NAT. Wow, that's it. I forgot my resource syntax. So it works the same way, okay? And you can give it custom width, as Simon is explaining on the chat, which is documented here. You see img-height-width and the resize model, so that you can set. Okay. We should also document the available resize modes and what they do, but I think it's actually done at that point somewhere. You see, mode, pad, box pad, max, min, stretch. No, this is a max mode, so there is another mode. Where is? That's weird. I think we are not explaining the crop one. Interesting. Some another feedback. Okay, but thank you, Simon, for this tip. Completely forgot about that. That's how you should do that if you're doing it in Razor. Or at least if you want to use the URL in an image tag, you should use this tag helper. I will show you another one after. Good. I will show you another one right now, actually, because that makes sense while we're on services. So what's the common point between, let me see if I should do that. It might not work as I expect because of that. That's so sad. So I will show you later. So I was going to do a new type called project. And what I want in the project, if I go to the portfolio, well, the portfolio is also on the, well, the homepage also has it. Portfolio, a project has an image, a title, and a text. So common to the service. So I don't want an alias. I want an auto route. If I create an auto route, I will be able to access it from the home. I will use an alias also. I will show you something that you might not know about the alias. And I want a title, and I want an HTML body, and I want a custom field, which will be the image. Media field, save. And what did I select here? I selected Boolean. This is not what I wanted. And maybe it's too late. It's too late. Content types, projects, remove, add field, image, media field, save, multiple no, required, save, creatable. I want my title at the top, the alias second. I want the image then, and then the body. I then want to use the WYSIWYG editor, and I will save. I could have shown you the markdown. And in the alias, you can also define a template, like in the auto route. And I will look at the documentation for the auto route to see what's the default pattern, because I want to use the same one. Display text, Slugify. This is what I want. So what I will say is that by default, the alias will be rendered automatically from the current content item by extracting its display text and slugifying it. And I will save it. Okay, and it's creatable, listable. So now I can create new projects. And I will create one. Oh, the title is at the bottom. Let me see if I broke that or I didn't configure it correctly. I want the title, the alias, the fields. I didn't save. New project. I want the title, so this will be project 1. Alias, I won't render it. I won't type it. I want it to be rendered. Image, I will take the same images. Okay, we don't care. HTML body, I will take the thing here. And I need to paste as plain text in this editor. Publish, so I have a new project. And you see, it created an alias automatically for me. Project 1. And actually, I don't need an alias. I don't know what I added one, but that's fine. I showed you the feature. We don't need aliases here. Oh yes, we need one. I will show you later why. Okay. I know why now. And if I go content items, I can see the project, and I will create another one. Project 2. An image, which I will take exactly the same. Body, paste as plain text. Publish. Okay, I have 2 projects. Now I want to render it on the home page in place of that. If I have more than 3, you will see it's creating. Oh, the good question, is it creating a new line because of Bootstrap or because of the row tag? So let's go on the index page. And here, portfolio heading, we have a row. And that's it. Okay, so we just need to remove that. I keep one. And I'll do the same thing as that. But with a twist, which is that we don't have a single element containing all the portfolios into, well, all the projects into a bag. They are all individual items. So I need to load the individual items. There are many ways to do that. One way would be to create a query in the admin and then get the query from there. or a named query, or to create a custom query here directly. So instead of getting an item from an alias, I will use another helper, which I think I didn't document because I didn't find it here, but it's there. I made it yesterday, so I forgot to document it. Did I merge the pull request? Let me check. Maybe I didn't merge this thing. Pull request. I merged it and I forgot the documentation, and I'm sure I forgot documentation. Oh my god. Get content item. Query. No, get content. Crap. Oh my god, that's why I need Visual Studio, or to document things. Modules, content, Razor, extensions, and I created get recent content items by content type async. This is what I created. So lame, I forgot to document it. Okay, something else to do. Can create an issue. It's returning an enumerable and it's taking a content type and optionally max content items. So if I do that, I can say here, where am I? Get recent content items by content type async. So there is this one, and there is another one also I created, which is more flexible, much more flexible, which is query content items async, which lets you write a SQL query directly on that, but it's better if you have IntelliSense. So await, and here I want to load the project content item, and that's it. I want all of them. There is an existing limit of 10. So if one day you do that and you forget about it, it might be that at some point you don't see the new items or the older items because it's limited by 10. So it's better to explicitly set it, but it's a security. In this case, maybe 12 because the home page has 1, 2, 3. Okay, 6. 6 is good. In case we have more than that, we'll show only 6. I only have 2, but that's called projects. And for each project in projects, okay? In this case, these are content items. So I can say here, this is a title. I can just do @project. This will use a display text. And here, I can do same thing, html.raw, and then project.html bodypart.html. Okay. And in theory, it just works. If I go on the correct home page, it doesn't work. Content item doesn't. Again, I forgot that. Project.content. Now I have 1 project, 2 projects, so I must have forgotten a row class. Or the row class goes around the block. Here. And I have my projects here, project 1, project 2. So you see, in this case, it's ordered by creation date. So it took the most recent one, which is project 2, to project 1. Okay, that's the idea. So it works. If we want to inject the image, then we'll use the awesome asset thingy here, but we don't have the tag helper. So very common mistake. It won't appear, or it will appear as what you type. So we need to inject the tag helper, and then we can the asset, and here replace with @project.content dot project, because this is the name containing the file, the field, project dot image dot path, and it's not well formatted either. And here F5, it's using the image here. And if we want to use a smaller image, not to have to transfer the big one, again, img dash width equals 100. And you see it's blurry because it's stretched out. So it's a too small image that we passed. 300 is better. Okay. Do I see a comment? No, or is it just copy pasting the previous one? Okay. So this works fine. So now what I want to show you, I could do this page, but I think there is not much point. Yeah, maybe the paging would show that, but for that, there is not much point into showing you what it is. You create a new file, a new Razor page, and whatever template you want to use, and you just repro what's there. What I'd like to show you is how to do a detail page. So when I'm on the home page, if I click on the title here, I want to open a dedicated page showing just this item. So to do that, I will do a project page. So let me rename this one, reuse that. I don't want the full project.cshtml. What I want to do is a link to this page that will, oh, we have two options to do that, interesting, but I will use a nice one. So what I want to do is bind a custom route segment into this page, and I will call it name, like the project name, okay? And then what we can do here is it functions? Not sure, we'll see. Public string name get set. Someone will look in the history of Gitter, and I think I pasted it yesterday. And this is from route. I think this is functions here. And then here we can do the code we want. And I will take the same code as that. And I will load the project from an alias, get content item by alias async. The alias will be name. Okay, the name property here, which will be bound from the name property route here. And then I can just display the project title just to see if it works. To do that, it needs to be inside the tag, whatever it is, to switch context from code to tagging. Page name, thank you. Okay, is the function section correct? Then project taking a name, and here from the index page, when we have the link href, we'll do slash. Is slash a good idea? Tilde slash, and we'll do project slash, and we want to inject the name of the, oh, this is not the correct location, this is a service here. Projects are here. Project slash, and the name is at project, and we need to get the alias dot content dot alias part dot alias. I think that's it. We'll see. So the home page, I have a link to project 2. It works. I don't know if you see on the bottom left, the URL is correct. So if I click on that, I see project 1 and I'm displaying the item it loaded, which worked. And I can see that it's not using the layout. Why is that? I bet this is a bug. Let's see if I remove that. It looks like a bug. When there is a route, the layout is not taken into account. Yeah, so you say pager. I don't think that's the reason. I can copy the layout, but I'm not very confident with that. You see? That's not the issue. That's a bug. That, like every bug, will be fixed at some point. Eventually, it will. That's an easy repro, at least. It's a recommendation. Oh, it's an MV. Okay. Yeah, maybe that, but I'm sure it's because of the routing thing. So, well, that should work like this. Okay, that's the nice thing to do. Project/project name. I like it. It's just a bug in the way we find for the modules the the layout. That's okay. Okay, I think that's good. So imagine you want to do a sitemap, then you can create the page you want or the view you want to render the sitemap. If you wanted to create a carousel, you will just model the content type with a carousel content type and a slide content type in the bag, and add an image and a title and a description, and you just render that as is. Something I haven't tried and I want to see if it works. I assume it will work. Let's get crazy. That's sad I'm using this recipe, but let's see. Let's try to create a widget, and then we see if it works, how we can extend on that. So it's completely decoupled, but maybe we can still use some shapes around. So if I create a new type called, let's say, a block quote. Blockquote code. How do we blockquote? What do we do in the other recipes? Blockquote. We have that in the other recipes, in the blog recipe, for instance. Blog recipes. Blockquote. Blockquote, which has just what? Maybe just a text. Okay, that will be fine. Don't we have something existing I can reuse? Shape that I can reuse. Okay, I will try to create one. That should be quick. Let's see. So here I'm creating a new type, Blockquote. Create, and I will just add a title. No, just a body. Only a body. Save. and I don't want anything to be creatable. Actually, I don't even need a type. That's interesting. I don't even need a type. I just wanted to try something. Yeah, I don't even need a type. That's fine. This is just to try if we could create a widget and then be able to edit that in the flow part. I don't even need a type, but I could. That's fine. I just wanted to see if by chance. So yeah, why I wanted to do that, let's say we have still widgets and flow parts that are defined in a recipe. So when I can create free-form content items to have the notion of rendered element in the editor by using the flow part. You know the flow part, so I won't explain. So it will use widgets. Now how will I render that? I will have to first either just load the content itself and do a switch on the type of widget that was displayed, or maybe we can use a small part of the rendering engine by just displaying a shape and having the templates inside the. It's not about theming, it's just having the templates of the widgets inside our application. So in this case, can we do orchard dot display async? So where do we have the shapes in documentation with this thing? Shapes. Shape type, shape new, we have shape new. So it must be around that. And we must have a helper. Maybe there is no helper like this. This is just liquid. I think we have tag helpers. Tag helpers for shapes. Tag helpers, shape tags. We have tag helpers, tag helper tags, tag helper. We have a shape tag helper, don't we? Tag helpers. This is for the resource. We have a shape tag helper. Where is that? Shape tag helper. So I don't have it on the helper, but I have a tag helper, shape tag helper. Inherits from base tag helper. ID type, cache dependency. We have type. Shape tag helper type, and it's in the assembly display management. Okay, let's try that. So if I do add tag helper, all the tag helpers from display management, and then here I'm supposed to be able to do shape type equals my shape, or Blockquote. Okay, let's say this is what I wanted to do earlier. That it says it doesn't find it, but it should be there. So let's see what happens. It should. If it works, it means that I have an exception saying it can't find the Blockquote shape. It can't find the Blockquote shape. So that's very nice. So that this means it works. And I just need to create a template. New file blockquote.cshtml. So this is the same way as. So the idea will be to. It can be like a partial view, a partial template or partial view. How do you call that? A partial in MVC. But by using shape, we will be able to reuse the flow part logic. That would be nice. We can see. So let's say this is a block quote. Let's just handle it as a template. It should not find it because the issues with shape is that for shapes, I need to restart the site. And I assume the command we have in VS Code is not optimal. It should not build anything here. just one project, the CMS. And here I see it's trying to restore and everything. I think we have an issue with the command. It should be much faster than that. It says building. So I created a Blockquote of CSHTML, so just so that it's found as a shape template, and in the index I'm just trying to render a shape, so we can still do that. Yeah. So the idea will be to extend that to also support the flow part, and this way, even if you are in Decoupled CMS, editors could still create content items that would be made of dynamic widgets. Okay, still can't find it. I must have made a mistake. Shape type, Blockquote, shape type Blockquote, and Blockquote. I don't know why it's not working. It should have worked. Okay. Blockquote CSHTML in the views. Okay, I have no explanation for that, but that's okay. I just wanted to see if it made sense. It might make sense. Questions? What didn't we do? That would have been nice. Something I didn't do is using a partial to render a service, because you see this template and is the same as in the services page. We could do a custom file for that, service.cshtml, and use a partial item. That would have worked. That's it. Everything which is necessary. Routing could be done in the startup files if you want custom routes, but here we see that the razor files are sufficiently extensible, and you could have created controllers and views also. That would have worked. Okay. I think we are good. Everything that I wanted to show has been. New feature I had to add. No, login is independent. Oh, last but not the least, let me show you now something. Let me show you something. Let's say, it's kind of sad, but let's say I go to the admin. Content, import, export, deployment plans. Let's see if that works. I will create a deployment plan. I will call it backup. And I will edit it by adding more steps. No, I will add more steps. I will add a step for all content definitions. Even though I don't want all content definition, and I will add a step for all content. Yep. And I will export everything and just execute, select. I get my backup recipe. I will copy this recipe and I will put it in there. I've never tried it. I just assume it will work. We'll see. Where is my recipe? Here, recipes. And I will just edit the recipe. And I will change the recipe to call it modern business. Modern business. Here is setup recipe. Steps, content definition, content type. This one I will remove because it's part of the module. That's why I wanted to be able to select one. Service I will keep, services I will keep, project I will keep, Blockquote I don't care. I will keep it. Content parts, alias. That's the issue. It's adding all these ones. I don't care. It might not break anything. We'll see. Content. I have some content. Okay, let's try that. So if I will keep my main site and I will just enable the multi-tenant. And now I will create a new tenant. So ideally I would have used now the SAS recipe, but I don't want to lose the content I have, so I will do another. Okay, site one. Site one, create. I will go on site one. Object. It's trying to load something from which page? Doesn't say. From the index page. Ah, okay. There's a conflict with the setup page and the home page of the site itself. I see. So it's not finding setup as the home page, but my own home page. That's why we need a SAS recipe. So I will just do a small backup here. Boom, it's done, and I will delete this thing, and I will restart the site. And this time I will try .NET run. .NET .NET. What's the issue here? Bin. That's weird. Bin. What is the issue here? There's a bin folder. PowerShell. .NET. Okay, .NET works. .NET. Bin slash. Yeah, it's better here. Orch, bin debug, netcore app, Orchard-core CMS, Orchard-core CMS.web.dll. Start. And you see that's much faster. That's how we should do things. And do a .NET run. So here, home page. I don't have an app data. Oh my god. What did I break? Blockquote. Okay, there is a conflict here. I see. There's an issue. It's still finding the Razor page as the default home page. This is sad. So I think I have a backup plan. Well, first I need to change my index to not render the block quote. I don't know why it finds the block quote. Why does it find the block quote? I don't understand why it finds the block quote. /orchard core.setup / orchard core setup modules setup controllers setup controller index. I'm forcing my way into the setup screen because the home page is a conflict here. So I will call it demo software as a service. I want just to check that no, the other recipe is not appearing. Doesn't work. Okay. Demo fail. That's fine. The idea is that I wanted to reuse what we have in the CMS website and the CMS web map and just create more tenants and be able to create as many modern websites as we wanted. But it doesn't work. There is first the issue with the conflict on the home page. I have to look into that. It would be better if it was a module because it will not be enabled by default, and maybe that's what we should do. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. That's the end of the demo. Any other questions? Any question? Something I didn't show you, and that might be interesting. We have other. There is a new shape tag, new tag helper I made on the DynamicCache. So cache ID, and for instance, you could cache the services or the portfolio, place it into the section. Okay. And then I should have showed that. Okay, next time. And then we can define some dependencies, cache dependencies, and say which content item we want to cache on. And this way, whenever we change a service or add a service or change a project, it will invalidate automatically the cache entry. Also, if we were to have multiple sections with the same content, we could cache with the same ID, so the different pages will share the same section of cached content. Also super useful. Just mentioning that for performance reasons. I didn't do a benchmark, but I assume it should be super fast. Like this kind of site should easily get on 1,000 or 2,000 requests per second without any caching. Okay, no questions, then 2 hours done. It's about time. Thanks everyone, and see you next time. Bye bye.